On December 3, 1935, Victoria of the United Kingdom, a member of the British royal family, daughter of King Edward VII and Alexandra of Denmark, died, younger sister of George V. On July 6, 1868, Victoria Alexandra Olga Mary was born in the London mansion Marlborough House. She was the fourth child in the family of Prince Edward of Wales and Alexandra of Denmark, having two sisters, Louise and Maud, and three brothers, Albert, George, and Alexander John, the last of whom died shortly after birth. Victoria had an exceptional background. On her father, she was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria and Prince Consort Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, and on her mother, King Christian IX of Denmark and Louise of Hesse-Kassel. Her family connections extended to many royal houses in Europe, and Victoria was known by her title, Her Royal Highness Princess Victoria of Wales. On August 6, 1868, the baptism of the newborn Victoria took place at Marlborough House, under the direction of Archibald Tate, Archbishop of Canterbury. In this solemn ceremony, her godparents were prominent representatives of royal and imperial houses, including her grandmother Queen Victoria, Russian Emperor Alexander II, and his son Tsarevich Alexander, as well as other members of royal and imperial families from all over Europe, including princes and princesses. In 1885, Victoria performed the role of bridesmaid with honor at two major royal weddings. She supported her aunt, Princess Beatrice, in her marriage to Prince Henry of Battenberg, and also rejoiced for her brother George, the future King of Great Britain, and his bride Victoria Maria of Teck, who became the future queen. Princess Victoria received her education in a cozy atmosphere at home, together with her sisters. She spent her childhood stretched between Marlborough House and Sandringham Palace in Norfolk, always under the careful supervision of mentors. The princess spent the summer months in Denmark, her mother's homeland, where relatives from all over Europe gathered. In her youth, Victoria was described as a lively and mischievous girl who grew into an attractive lady with outstanding qualities. She had a great sense of humor, and her big expressive blue eyes added to her charm. She was friendly and pleasant in communication, not showing any arrogance because of her high position. The princess divided her interests between riding, cycling, reading, music, and dancing. Victoria's special passion belonged to photography. She has created several albums of family photos and even exhibited her work at Kodak exhibitions. In addition, Victoria was a devoted animal lover and had dogs named Sam, Maz, and Punchy on her list of pets. For 6 years, she had a pet pigeon that accompanied her during walks and travels, comfortably arranged in a small basket. Victoria maintained warm and friendly relations with her cousins who were in Russia and Greece. The interest of Nicholas II, the future emperor of the Russian Empire, in Princess Victoria stood out especially vividly. In his youth, Nicholas was in love with the daughter of the Prince of Wales and found a lot of charm in her. He appreciated Victoria's seriousness, thoroughness, and unladylike mind. In 1889, describing her, Nicholas shares with a close friend, Grand Duke Alexander Mikhailovich, as follows: "She is really a wonderful being, and the more and deeper you delve into her soul, the more clearly you see all her virtues and qualities. I must confess that it is very difficult to unravel her at first, that is, to find out her view of things and people, but this difficulty is a special charm for me, which I am not able to explain." This interest in Victoria was shared by Grand Duke Mikhail Alexandrovich. The relationship between Victoria and her older brother George was especially close and warm. They had many common traits and shared a sense of humor, which strengthened their bond. When Victoria passed away in 1935, George, who at that time was king and emperor, expressed his incredible boredom for daily conversations with his sister on the phone and admitted that no one could replace her in his heart. However, despite her close relationship with her brother, Victoria was not close to her sister-in-law, Queen Mary, née Princess of Teck. She described it as terribly boring. Maria and Victoria have never found a common language due to differences in characters, education, and interests. Victoria had a close and affectionate relationship with her parents, becoming a kind of good angel of the family for them. The princess always accompanied them at official events and ceremonies, as well as provided support and assistance in their private lives. When it came to Victoria's marriage, there were several candidates, but she rejected their proposals, which was a great disappointment for her parents. Among the applicants was her cousin, Crown Prince Christian of Denmark, later King Christian X. However, Victoria rejected him, which was a disappointment for her family. Another contender for Victoria's hand was the Portuguese King Carlos I, but his demand for Victoria's conversion to the Catholic faith did not suit her parents. Victoria was also wooed by the 5th Earl of Rosebery, but she never married. It is believed that the influence of the mother strongly suppressed her desire to marry. In March 1905, Princess Victoria made an official visit to Portugal with her mother, Sister Maud, and her future husband Karl, who later became King of Norway. Their trip was a response to the visit of the Portuguese monarchs to the UK the previous year. On the first day of arrival, due to ill health, Victoria stayed on the royal yacht Victoria and Albert, while Queen Alexandra, her daughter Maud, and Prince Charles met with Queen Amelia and the Dowager Queen Maria Pia. The next day, accompanied by her sister, Victoria visited the king, queen, and their sons. Eventually, on March 24, the British guests returned to their homeland. In the last days of King Edward VII's illness, Victoria showed determination, openly announcing the expectation of his imminent demise and demanding an honest reflection of the monarch's state of health in state bulletins. After the death of the king in 1910, she remained in the shadow of her widowed mother, Queen Alexandra. Queen Alexandra experienced constant depression and faced hearing problems, and Victoria actively supported her, accompanying her to various institutions and on holidays. At times, she also expressed her longing when her mother was missing at important events, such as Alexandra Rose Day. Against the background of anti-German public hostility during the First World War, King George V and his entire extended family renounced German titles, and awards, and also changed the name of the ruling dynasty to Windsor in honor of the ancestral castle. Princess Victoria followed suit and had the surname Windsor since 1917. After the departure of Queen Alexandra in 1925, Victoria moved to the small town of Coppens in Buckinghamshire, where she lived until her death. In the last years of her life, she enjoyed music, paid attention to gardening, and actively participated in solving local issues and problems. Princess Victoria also supported the young cellist Beatrice Harrison and her sisters, who studied music, and invited them several times to her home and to Sandringham Palace. Among her close friends were members of the Musgrave family, the widowed 5th Earl of Rosebery and Violet Vivian, a former lady-in-waiting to Queen Alexandra. Lady Musgrave was her lifelong friend and served as her maid of honor. The princess also helped Violet Vivian in the design of her extensive Castell garden, located near the village of Camays on the northwest coast of the island of Anglesey. Victoria died on December 3, 1935 at the age of 67 in her home. Her funeral was held on January 8, 1936 at the Royal Frogmore Cemetery in Windsor.